Hear the word of the Lord. Joshua chapter 14. Now these are the territories which the sons of Israel inherited in the land of Canaan, which Eleazar the priest and Joshua the son of Nun, and the heads of the households of the tribes of the sons of Israel, apportioned to them for an inheritance, by the lot of their inheritance, as Yahweh commanded by the hand of Moses, for the 9 tribes and the half-tribe. For Moses had given the inheritance of the 2 tribes and the half-tribe beyond the Jordan, but he did not give an inheritance to the Levites among them. For the sons of Joseph were 2 tribes, Manasseh and Ephraim, and they did not give a portion to the Levites in the land, except cities to live in, with their pasture lands for their livestock and for their property. Thus the sons of Israel did just as Yahweh had commanded Moses, and they divided the land. Then the sons of Judah drew near to Joshua in Gilgal, and Caleb the son of Jephunneh the Kenizzite said to him, You know the word which Yahweh spoke to Moses, the man of God, concerning you and me in Kadesh Barnea. I was 40 years old when Moses, the servant of Yahweh, sent me from Kadesh Barnea to spy out the land, and I brought word back to him as it was in my heart. Nevertheless, my brothers who went up with me made the heart of the people melt with fear, but I followed Yahweh my God fully. So Moses swore on that day, saying, Surely the land on which your foot has trodden will be an inheritance to you and to your children forever, because you have followed Yahweh my God fully. So now behold, Yahweh has let me live, just as he spoke, these 45 years, from the time that Yahweh spoke this word to Moses, when Israel walked in the wilderness. So now behold, I am 85 years old today. I am still as strong today as I was in the day Moses sent me. As my strength was then, so my strength is now, for war and for going out and coming in. So now, give me this hill country about which Yahweh spoke on that day. For you heard on that day that Anakim were there, with great fortified cities. Perhaps Yahweh will be with me, and I will dispossess them as Yahweh has spoken. So Joshua blessed him, and gave Hebron to Caleb the son of Jephunneh for an inheritance. Therefore Hebron became the inheritance of Caleb the son of Jephunneh the Kenizzite until this day, because he fully followed Yahweh, the God of Israel. Now the name of Hebron was formerly Kiriath Arba, for Arba was the greatest man among the Anakim. Then the land was quiet from war. Joshua chapter 15. Now the lot for the tribe of the sons of Judah, according to their families, reached the border of Edom, southward to the wilderness of Zin at the far end toward the south. And their south border was from the lower end of the Salt Sea, from the bay that turns to the south. Then it went southward to the ascent of Akrabim and passed on to Zin, and went up by the south of Kadesh Barnea, and continued to Hezron, and went up to Adar, and turned about to Karka. And it passed on to Asmon, and went out to the brook of Egypt, and the border ended at the sea. This shall be your south border. And the east border was the Salt Sea, as far as the mouth of the Jordan, and the border of the north side was from the bay of the sea at the mouth of the Jordan. Then the border went up to Beth Hoglah, and passed by on the north of Beth Araba, and the border went up to the stone of Bohan, the son of Reuben. Then the border went up to Deber from the valley of Achor, and turned northward toward Gilgal, which is opposite the ascent of Adamim, which is on the south of the valley. And the border continued to the waters of En-Shemesh, and it ended at En-Rogel. Then the border went up the valley of Ben-Hinnom to the slope of the Jebusite on the south, that is Jerusalem. And the border went up to the top of the mountain, which is before the valley of Hinnom to the west, which is at the end of the valley of Rephaim toward the north. From the top of the mountain, the border curved to the spring of the waters of Nephtoah, and proceeded to the cities of Mount Ephron. Then the border curved to Baalah, that is Kiriath Jearim. Then the border turned about from Baalah westward to Mount Seir, and continued to the slope of Mount Jearim on the north, that is Chesalon, and went down to Beth Shemesh, and continued through Timnah. Then the border went out to the side of Ekron northward. Then the border curved to Shikharon, and passed on to Mount Baalah, and went out to Jabneel, and the border ended at the sea. And the west border was at the great sea, even its coastline. This is the border around the sons of Judah, according to their families. Now he gave to Caleb the son of Jephunneh a portion among the sons of Judah, according to the command of Yahweh to Joshua, namely Kiriath Arba, Arba being the father of Anak, that is, Hebron. And Caleb dispossessed from there the 3 sons of Anak, Sheshai and Ahiman and Talmai, the children of Anak. Then he went up from there against the inhabitants of Debir. Now the name of Debir formerly was Kiriath Sepher. And Caleb said, the one who strikes down Kiriath Sepher and captures it, I will give him Achsah my daughter as a wife. And Othniel the son of Kenaz, the brother of Caleb, captured it. So he gave him Achsah his daughter as a wife. Now it happened that when she came to him, she enticed him to ask her father for a field. So she alighted from the donkey, and Caleb said to her, What do you want? Then she said, Give me a blessing. Since you have given me the land of the Negev, give me also springs of water. So he gave her the upper springs and the lower springs. This is the inheritance of the tribe of the sons of Judah, according to their families. Now the cities at the far end of the tribe of the sons of Judah toward the border of Edom in the south were Kabzeel and Eder and Jagur, and Kinah and Dimonah and Adadah, and Kadesh and Hazer and Ithnan, Ziph and Telem and Bealoth, and Hazer Hadadah and Kerioth Hezron, that is, Hazer, Amam and Shema and Moladah, and Hazar Gaddah and Heshmon and Beth Pelet, and Hazer Shual and Beersheba and Biziathiah, Baalah and Iam and Ezim, and Eltalad and Chesel and Hormah, and Ziklag and Manmana and Sansana, and Lebaoth and Shilhim and Ain and Rimmon, in all 29 cities with their villages. In the Shephelah, Eshtaol and Zorah and Ashna, and Zanoah and En-Ganim, Tappuah and Enam, Jarmuth and Adullam, Soka and Azekah, and She'arim and Adathaim, and Gederah and Gederathaim, 14 cities with their villages. Zenan and Hadashah and Migdal-Gad, and Dilian and Mizpah and Joktheel, Lachish and Bozkath and Eglon, and Cabin and Lamas and Shitlish, and Gederoth, Beth Dagon and Naamah and Makkedah, 16 cities with their villages. Libnah and Ether and Ashan, and Iphta and Ashna and Nezib, and Keilah and Achzib and Marashah, 9 cities with their villages. Ekron with its town and its villages. From Ekron even to the sea, all that were by the side of the Ashdod with their villages. Ashdod its towns and its villages. Gaza its towns and its villages, as far as the brook of Egypt and the great sea, even its coastline. And the hill country, Shamer and Jadar and Soka, and Dana and Kiriath Sana, that is, Debir, and Anab and Eshtemoh and Anim, and Goshen and Holon and Gilo, 11 cities with their villages. Arab and Duma and Eshan, and Janam and Beth Tappuah and Aphekah, and Humta and Kiriath Arba, that is, Hebron, and Zair, 9 cities with their villages. Maon, Carmel, and Ziph and Judah, and Jezreel and Jokdeam and Zanoah, Cain, Gibeah, and Timnah, 10 cities with their villages. Halhul, Beth Zur, and Gedor, and Maarath and Bethanath and Eltekon, 6 cities with their villages. Kiriath Baal, that is, Kiriath Jearim, and Rabbah, 2 cities with their villages. In the wilderness, Beth Araba, Middin, and Sakaka, and Nibshan in the city of Salt, and En-Gedi, 6 cities with their villages. Now as for the Jebusites, the inhabitants of Jerusalem, the sons of Judah could not dispossess them. So the Jebusites live with the sons of Judah at Jerusalem until this day. Joshua chapter 16. Then the lot for the sons of Joseph went out from the Jordan at Jericho to the waters of Jericho on the east into the wilderness, going up from Jericho through the hill country to Bethel. And it went out from Bethel to Luz and passed on to the border of the Archites at Ataroth. Then it went down westward to the territory of the Japhletites as far as the territory of lower Beth Horon, even to Gezer, and it ended at the sea. So the sons of Joseph, Manasseh and Ephraim, received their inheritance. Now this was the territory of the sons of Ephraim according to their families. The border of their inheritance eastward was Ataroth Adar, as far as upper Beth Horon. Then the border went westward at Mikmethath on the north, and the border turned about eastward to Taanath Shiloh, and passed on beyond it to the east of Genoa. And it went down from Genoa to Ataroth and to Naarah, and reached Jericho and came out at the Jordan. From Tappuah the border continued westward to the brook of Cana, and it ended at the sea. This is the inheritance of the tribe of the sons of Ephraim according to their families, together with their cities, which were set apart for the sons of Ephraim in the midst of the inheritance of the sons of Manasseh, all the cities with their villages. But they did not dispossess the Canaanites, who lived in Gezer. So the Canaanites live in the midst of Ephraim to this day, and they became forced laborers. Joshua chapter 17. And this was the lot for the tribe of Manasseh, for he was the firstborn of Joseph. To Machir, the firstborn of Manasseh, the father of Gilead, were allotted Gilead and Bashan because he was a man of war. So the lot was made for the rest of the sons of Manasseh according to their families, for the sons of Abiezer, and for the sons of Helek, and for the sons of Asriel, and for the sons of Shechem, and for the sons of Hepher, and for the sons of Shemida. These were the sons of Manasseh, the son of Joseph, the males according to their families. However, Zelophehad, the son of Hepher, the son of Gilead, the son of Machir, the son of Manasseh, had no sons, only daughters. And these are the names of his daughters: Mahlah and Noah, Hoglah, Milcah, and Tirzah. And they came near before Eleazar the priest and before Joshua the son of Nun and before the leaders, saying, Yahweh commanded Moses to give us an inheritance among our brothers. So according to the word of Yahweh, he gave them an inheritance among their father's brothers. Thus there fell 10 portions to Manasseh, besides the land of Gilead and Bashan, which is beyond the Jordan, because the daughters of Manasseh received an inheritance among his sons, and the land of Gilead belonged to the rest of the sons of Manasseh. And the border of Manasseh ran from Asher to Michmethath, which was east of Shechem. Then the border went southward to the inhabitants of En-Tappuah. The land of Tappuah belonged to Manasseh, but Tappuah on the border of Manasseh belonged to the sons of Ephraim. And the border went down to the brook of Cana, southward of the brook. These cities belonged to Ephraim among the cities of Manasseh, and the border of Manasseh was on the north side of the brook, and it ended at the sea. The south side belonged to Ephraim, and the north side to Manasseh, and the sea was their border, and they reached to Asher on the north and to Issachar on the east. And in Issachar and in Asher, Manasseh had Beth-shean and its towns, and Ibleam and its towns, and the inhabitants of Dor and its towns, and the inhabitants of Endor and its towns, and the inhabitants of Taanach and its towns, and the inhabitants of Megiddo and its towns. The third is Napheth. But the sons of Manasseh could not take possession of these cities, because the Canaanites persisted in living in that land. Now it happened that when the sons of Israel became strong, they put the Canaanites to forced labor, but they did not dispossess them completely. Then the sons of Joseph spoke to Joshua, saying, Why have you given me only one lot and one portion for an inheritance, since I am a numerous people whom Yahweh has thus far blessed? And Joshua said to them, If you are a numerous people, go up to the forest and clear a place for yourself there in the land of the Perizzites and of the Rephaim, since the hill country of Ephraim is too narrow for you. And the sons of Joseph said, The hill country is not enough for us, and all the Canaanites who live in the valley land have chariots of iron, both those who are in Beth-shean and its towns, and those who are in the valley of Jezreel. Then Joshua spoke to the house of Joseph, to Ephraim and Manasseh, saying, You are a numerous people, and have great power. You shall not have one lot only, but the hill country shall be yours. For though it is a forest, you shall clear it, and to its farthest borders it shall be yours. For you shall dispossess the Canaanites, even though they have chariots of iron, and even though they are strong.